Hello my dear beautiful bastards and welcome back to more Middle-earth Shadow of War news. The developers recently had a stream where they talked about the IGN first gameplay video, and they actually revealed a large amount of new information that forced me to spend 20 minutes in my bathroom, but now that I'm back, I can let you know all about it. They separated the topics of the stream into 4 sections, and the first one was Arena. Before they actually talked about the Arena, they focused on the Nemesis System. In Shadow of War, the Nemesis System will extend onto the story missions, which means that orcs you encounter in scripted events will still be unique to you. Once killed, those same orcs can cheat death and appear again randomly in the world. In Shadow of Mordor, story orcs were the same for everyone, and they never reappeared after being killed. This will change how you do story missions, because if you encounter commanders, you know that they will buff other enemies around them, and they can call more orcs to battle. Furthermore, different tribes have different weapons, fighting styles and abilities, which can drastically change how you approach all missions, especially the story ones. The game will always encourage you to dominate worms and find out more about the war chiefs and captains you need to face, because they will always be different. When it comes to tanks, they will mostly be large ologs. The olog we saw in the IGN video was a mystic tank. Mystic enemies will use cursed weapons and they will use magic. Teleportation was mentioned. A massive teleporting magical olog is not something I'd want to encounter, even if I'm fueled with the power of the gods. The weakness tabs have been explained as well. The first one is mortal vulnerability that will kill the orc as soon as you use it. The second one is just vulnerability, which weakens the orc significantly, and the third one is dazed by, which will daze the orc and give you time to tickle his balls or something similar. The final tab are hints, which will always be available, and they will help you figure out how to kill the orc, in case all the other tabs are empty. The level cap for the orcs has been raised, and now it is level 60, which will make them much stronger, often even too strong for direct confrontation. If you encounter legendary orcs, you will be able to brand them, but they will have legendary gear, so the question will always be to brand or to kill. In case you encounter an orc that is weak, but you wish for them to become stronger faster, you can threaten them with death. This will motivate them to train harder and level up faster, which will then prompt a mission where you can confront them and fight. It gives you a nice method of getting better gear faster. Now, details specific to the arena. Every region of the game will have a combat arena whose purpose is to lay the law among the orcs and entertain the audience, of course. Battles will be occurring randomly and unrelated to your own activities, but you will be able to instruct your own orcs to fight, even among themselves. The killed orc will drop loot and the winner will become stronger. It is also possible to have a spy orc that is on your side fight to earn respect within the region, but you need to be careful not to jump into the battle yourself. If you help your orc win, others will realize that you're working together. In other cases, you will always be able to jump in and kill them all, especially if it's a close battle where their health bars are low. Orcs will be fighting in the world completely randomly, and they have many different executions that depend on their tribe, their abilities, types, and personalities. They're able to use mines, throwing bombs, poison and fire arrows, and probably many more things. At this point, the discussion switched towards fortress assaults and siege beasts that can participate in battles. The siege beasts can be placed as stationary catapults, which can then be mounted and aimed at a specific location, as we have seen from the video. In case the siege weapon gets destroyed, the grog will still be usable as a normal grog that can move, climb, jump, and smash anything. The siege weapon can use fire, napalm, curses, and poison, probably even more than that. These weapons can get stronger if your assault team has a war chief whose ability enhances that particular type of weapon, but I believe we already knew that from before. We can bring 6 different war chiefs to a fort assault, and each one of them can bring a specific upgrade. When choosing the upgrade, we'll have 3 different options. We have siege beasts, sappers, which are suicidal bombers, and banner bearers, who place banners to inspire other allies. When it comes to region-specific armies, each one will have a separate army that you will need to build, but you can get training orders to transfer your favorite orcs to another region. This is the case because some regions are much more difficult than others and hold stronger orcs, so in many cases bringing an orc from another region will make your assault team too weak. It will be possible to fill a fortress with allies, which will then allow you to simply walk in and meet the overlord without a battle. The fortresses aren't fully destructible, but we have seen walls and gates being breached, as well as barrels and other items exploding. Aside from all these, each fort will have tribe-specific monuments that will be destructible. The ability to climb anywhere can help you create different tactics, but enemies are able to climb as well. They're even able to ambush you on rooftops or shoot you while climbing up. This creates many different combat opportunities, and glaive can be used to knock multiple enemies down at once, potentially to throw them off the rooftops. Depending on your location and situation, you will need to change your combat style to achieve glorious victory. This is something very important because the Batman fighting style promotes one-button mashing, so hopefully this will fix it. The most saddening news we have gotten so far is the fact that we cannot climb trees. Sad. The next discussion topic was the allies and humans within the game. Side missions will now have proper stories, characters and cutscenes. Humans can be saved in these side missions and recruited as followers or bodyguards. Humans aren't a part of the Nemesis system, they are basically like generic orc grunts who can help you out from time to time. They can't be dominated or killed, and they can't become a fortress overlord, but they can kill war chiefs. The only way for a human to join your fortress assault is by summoning them as your follower or bodyguard. It's been revealed that you can summon spiders as well. Summoning is limited to one bodyguard and one mount, but the bodyguards you summon can have mounts of their own or full gangs to fight alongside them. There was a question regarding human betrayal, and the developer refused to say anything about it, which leads me to believe that we may potentially have a story character that will betray us and join Sauron, but this is just a random guess. They're currently having issues balancing the aggression of your allies. This is important in case you have an enemy that you wish to brand, and then an ally simply decides to crush them to shit before you have a chance to do so. I'm curious to see how will they find a solution to this. My suggestion would be to simply add a button that will let you mark them for branding. That way allies will know not to kill that particular enemy. In battles, your allies will wear blue armor and the enemies will wear red. This is simply to distinguish who is who on the battlefield, but the captains and other higher tier orcs will all have custom armor. The final topic that was discussed are the barrows, the underground areas filled with death and spooky ghosts. Before going into that topic directly, the devs mentioned the Towers of Silver. These towers will have stones called Haldir, which are basically a cheap imitation of the Palantir Sightstones that will serve as beacons and watchtowers over that particular region. It is basically the same thing that Ubisoft does in all of their games. Taking over the tower will reveal everything on the map in that particular section. Now, in the Barrows, we play as Celebrimbor and relive moments from his past through challenge missions. It is basically the Bright Lord DLC from the first game, but expanded and placed into the main game. Through these missions, we will encounter very strong orcs from the past, and we will have an opportunity to get legendary items from them. The Barrows will contain doors locked through puzzles that will be related to the Ithilden writing that you will be able to find in the world. Basically, you can search for Ithilden words scattered across the world that will help you form sentences to unlock various doors that contain valuable loot. Another thing the Barrows will give you are Celebrimbor abilities, such as the Hammer. The Hammer will be a weapon that will be both melee and ranged. In case you're interested in mostly throwing it, I can tell you that it will be relatively slow, with a large area of effect damage radius. The developer called it the Middle-earth rocket launcher. When it comes to undead enemies, the only thing we know is that they do exist. More details about that will come at some other time. This concludes all of the new things mentioned in the developer livestream. We have gotten a fair amount of news that helps us imagine what the game will be like, and that's always nice. I'm especially glad that they used the segmented format to discuss different topics and answer questions pretty much directly. Today IGN released an article where they talked to Mike regarding how Shadow of War fits inside the Lord of the Rings universe, and we all know that is kinda muddy. There are certain aspects of the series that tickle the true fans in all the wrong places, but it is interesting to see how they approach this matter. For instance, the olog-hai race was inspired by Warhammer 40k, which is a little bit odd, but interesting. For the full interview, make sure to check the link in the description. For the rest of the video, I shall leave you with new images of concept art from that very same article, and I hope to see you around when another batch of news comes in. Thanks for watching, I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petardia eternally touch your butt.